Welcome to this video about moderated mediation with process. That is the process models 21, 22, 28 and 29. In this video I show you how to interpret the output for those four models. What all four models have in common is that you have a moderator for the A path and a second moderator for the B path. The difference between the models lies in the direct path C'. With model 21 there is no moderation for the direct effect. In model 22 the first moderator, that is the moderator for the A path, moderates the direct effect too. In model 28 the second moderator, that is the moderator for the B path, moderates the direct effect. And in model 29 both moderators also moderate the direct effect C'. If you want to run one of those models, I recommend reading the relevant article by Hayes. The link to this journal article is in the description. Before we go to the output, I'll show you which parameters I've used. The model number, of course, the dependent variable, the independent variable, the mediator, the first moderator, and the second moderator. In order not to care about possible non-normality for the A or for the B path, I use bootstrap inference. Then to the options. I'd like to get code for visualizing interactions. I'd like to mean center continuous variables for interactions. In order not to care about possible heteroscedasticity, I use a robust standard error, in this case HC4. Then I change the decimal places in the output to 3. For the conditioning values I choose -1 standard deviation, mean, and +1 standard deviation. And for the interactions I'd like to get the Johnson-Neyman output. Before we look at the results, 2 additional tutorials I'd like to recommend. Instead of the dialog box, you could run the model by using process syntax. Process syntax gives you many more options than you have with a dialog. If you want to know more about that, I've written a short tutorial with the main process syntax commands. The link is in the description. Secondly, when running a moderated mediation, we are running regression models, and regressions have assumptions. If you want to know more about assumption testing in the context of process, I've made a video tutorial about that. The link is in the description too. Now we start with the output. First I'd like to check at the top whether I've used the correct variables. Then I go to the bottom of the output in order to check whether there are any error messages. Here there are none, that's good. The key information is about 80% down in the output under direct and indirect effects of X on Y. And the most important information is here under index of moderated mediation. This index is calculated by multiplying the regression weight for the interaction of the A path with the regression weight for the interaction of the B path. So this index tests whether we have an indirect effect that is moderated by those 2 moderators, because a product of 2 numbers is only different from 0 if both numbers are different from 0. If you want to know more about the theory behind this index, I recommend the journal article I mentioned earlier. For this index you don't find a p-value, because the exact distribution of this index is not so easy to find. Therefore, process uses bootstrapping. To see whether this index is significant or not, we have to look at the 2 borders of the bootstrap confidence interval, and if the 0 doesn't lie inside this interval, it's significant. In this case, both borders are positive, so the 0 is not part of the confidence interval. Therefore, we know we have a significant moderated mediation. And in a way, that's it. Everything else is follow-up analysis. If this is significant, we have a moderated mediation. If this is not significant, we don't have a moderated mediation. As a next step, we want to know a little bit more about how those 2 moderators work together when it comes to the indirect effect. And this information we can find in this table. Here, for different combinations of the first and the second moderator, we see what the effect is, and by looking at the confidence interval, we see whether for those combinations this effect is significant. Let's start with the first line. We have a value for the moderator 1, -1 standard deviation. because that's what I've chosen as a conditioning value earlier in the dialog. We have for the moderator 2 -1 standard deviation. So we have a combination of low values of the moderator 1 and low values of the moderator 2. Then this is the effect. And by looking at the confidence interval, we see the 0 is not part of the confidence interval. Therefore, this is significant. So for low values of the first and of the second moderator, we have a significant positive indirect effect from the independent variable over the mediator to the dependent variable. And the same for the other 8 combinations. In this case, for all 9 combinations of the moderator 1 and the moderator 2, we have a significant effect. The next follow-up information is a little bit tricky to understand. It's down here. Here are 3 indices of conditional moderated mediation by W. That is by the first moderator. What does this mean? For those 3 indices, the values of the moderator 2, that is the moderator for the B path, are fixed at low values, medium values, and high value. And then, for those 3 models with a fixed moderator 2, we look whether then the first moderator moderates the indirect effect. So this is the model, and now, for instance, the first line, we fix the moderator 2 at values 1 standard deviation below its mean. If the moderator 2 is fixed, we don't have a moderation anymore for the B path, because the B path is fixed at a specific value. And if we don't have a moderation for the B path anymore, then this is something like process model number 7. That is a model where we have a moderation for the A path. So conceptually, we have here the results of 3 different moderated mediations. Not moderated mediations, but simply moderated mediations, where the first moderator moderates the A path. So it's a little bit like 3 times process model number 7. Of course, that's not something you could write in your thesis. That's more to give you some more intuitive understanding of what this does. So let's look at the interpretation for the first line. If we fix the moderator 2 at values 1 standard deviation below its mean, then we have a significant index of conditional moderated mediation, because 0 is not part of the bootstrap confidence interval. That means that for low values of the second moderator, the first moderator moderates the indirect effect. The same for the other 2 lines. The last part in this block of results is the direct effect. That is the effect C prime. In this case, we see it's not significant. And here we read HC4, so this is tested using robust standard errors. And here the 4 model numbers differ, because this is model 21, where we don't have a moderation of the direct effect. If we look at the other model, here for model 22, the first moderator moderates the direct effect, and therefore we get 3 different values for the direct effect. At low values of the first moderator, at medium values of the first moderator, and at high values of the first moderator. For model 28, it's more or less the same, just with the difference that here the second moderator, moderator 2, moderates the direct effect. And at last, for model number 29, both moderators moderate the direct effect. So here we get combinations of those 2 moderators. That is, the first line would be moderator 1 is 1 standard deviation below the mean, and the moderator 2 is 1 standard deviation below the mean. Then we would get a marginal significant direct effect. Next, we go back to the top of the output and look at the A path of the model. That is, on the effect of the independent variable on the mediator, moderated by the first moderator. This again is the same for all 4 models. Here we have the model summary, here are the coefficients, and the most important information lies here in the interaction term. Because if the interaction is significant, we have a moderated A path, and here it is significant. Those tests use the robust standard error here, HC4. The effect size for the moderation is down here, so the interaction explains 8.2% of the variance of the mediator. And since the interaction is significant, we look at the follow-up analyses. First, the simple slopes at 3 different values of the moderator. Here, for all 3 values, we have a significant A path. To look at it in more detail, we can use the Johnson-Neyman results. Here we see there are no statistical significance transition points. That is, for all those values, we have a significant A path. And at last we get the code for visualizing the interaction. We copy this into a syntax file in SPSS, run it, and then add lines for the subgroups. Again, this is the same for all 4 model numbers. Next, we look at the second regression model, that is the model for the B path, and at the same time for the direct path C'. And here we have differences between the 4 models. Because in model 21 we have only one interaction between the second moderator and the mediator. In model number 22 we have 2 interactions between the independent variable and the first moderator, and between the mediator and the second moderator. In model number 28 we also have 2 interactions between the independent variable and the second moderator, and between the mediator and the second moderator. And in model number 29 we have 3 interactions in this model between the independent variable and the first moderator, between the independent variable and the second moderator, and between the mediator and the second moderator. So let's start with model number 21. We have the model summary, we have the coefficients, and the important thing here is the interaction. This is significant, so we have a significant moderation for the B path. Here's the effect size. Here are the simple slopes at 3 values of the moderator. Here are the Johnson-Neyman significance regions. And here's the code in order to visualize the simple slopes. For the other 3 models it gets a little bit more complicated, because now we have more than one interaction. So first, if we look at the parameters, we have to look at the product terms key. So here the interaction 1 is the interaction for the direct effect. That is the interaction between the independent variable and the first moderator. This one. And the second interaction is the interaction for the B path. That is between the mediator and the second moderator. That's the really interesting interaction, because this interaction, if it's significant, shows you that we have a moderated B path. When it comes to the effect sizes, we get 2 effect sizes. The first, how much of the variance of the dependent variable is explained by the interaction in the direct effect, and much more interesting, the second, how much variance of the dependent variable is explained by the moderation of the B path. And now the follow-up information, that is the simple slopes, the significance regions, we get twice. Once for the moderation of the direct effect, and the second for the moderation of the B path. The second is the more interesting for us. Here we get information about the moderated direct effect, the conditional effects. We have seen them before because they are printed twice in the output. Then the significance regions, and of course the data for visualizing this. Here information about the second interaction, that is about the moderation of the B path. We get the simple slopes for those 3 different values, then the Johnson-Neyman regions, and again the data if you want to visualize this information. Now we go to model number 28. The output looks more or less the same as the output for model number 22, with the only difference that the moderator for the direct effect isn't the first moderator but the second moderator. So again we get 2 interactions, and here the first interaction is the interaction between the independent variable and the second moderator, and the second interaction, much more interesting to us, is the interaction between the mediator and the second moderator. That is the interaction for the B path. Here it's significant, so we know we have a B path that is significantly moderated by the moderator 2. Again, here are the effect sizes. Here's the follow-up information for the direct effect. The same structure as before, just with the difference that in this case it depends on moderator 2 and not moderator 1. And here's the follow-up information for the moderated B path. Where it gets slightly different is model number 29, because now we have 2 interactions at the same time for the direct effect C', additional to the interaction for the B path. So looking at the model for the B path and the C' path, we see here 3 interactions. And in the product terms key we see interaction 1 is the interaction between the independent variable and the first moderator, interaction 2 between the independent variable and the second moderator. That is, the first 2 interactions concern the direct effect C', and the third interaction is the interaction between mediator and the moderator 2. That is the interaction for the B path, and for us the most important information. And here it's significant, so we know we have a significant moderated B path. Here are the effect sizes. The most important effect size is down here, between the mediator and the second moderator. Next we go to the follow-up information. First, for the follow-up information about the direct effect C', that is the independent variable and both moderators. We have seen this table before. This is the conditional direct effect, dependent on different combinations of the first and the second moderator. Here with those two moderators, we don't get a Johnson name in output, but we get a more complex syntax for visualizing those interactions. And then, as always, we get the follow-up information for the moderated B path, the conditional effect, the Johnson name in significance regions, and the data for visualizing those conditional effects. The last thing we have to look at are the bootstrap results for the A path, the B path, and the C' path. They are at the end of the output. So for all the regression coefficients we've looked at earlier for the A path and the B path and the C' path, here we get bootstrap results. That is, we don't get p-values, but we get confidence intervals, and we have to look whether the 0 is part of the confidence interval or not. If the 0 is not part of the confidence interval, then the bootstrapping results tell us that the coefficient is significant. This information is valid even if we don't have normality. So that's it. I know I've given you a lot of information to digest in this video. I hope at the very least now you have an orientation where to find what parts of information when analyzing a moderated mediation.